This is a place that has human rights violations splattered all across its premises. This is a tightly secured zone in which a nation that boasts itself of being the symbol of free, open democracy and a guardian of human rights has been abusing those same rights within its restricted zone in the name of ending terrorism. This is a facility that is as notorious as the enemy it claims to subdue. This is Guantanamo Bay, also known as Gitmo, and this is America's long-lasting legacy of the war on terror. More than 150 organizations have now sent a letter to US President Joe Biden urging him to prioritize closing this detention facility in Cuba. The letter has been signed by 159 organizations from the US and other countries who call themselves a diverse group of NGOs working on issues including international human rights, immigrants' rights, racial justice, and combating anti-Muslim discrimination. In this video, we take a quick look at the Guantanamo Bay facility that has blood all over its hands. But before that, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to One India. After 9/11, the USA was fuming and was looking for those who had carried out the deadly attacks on its soil. The US opened the detention center under President George W. Bush in January 2001 following the attacks and the invasion of Afghanistan to hold and interrogate prisoners suspected of having links to Al-Qaeda or the Taliban. Since then, around 780 men had passed through this detention facility, hitting a peak of about 680 in 2003. Located on the eastern tip of Cuba, this naval base is 45 square miles and has been under US control since the end of the 19th century. The base is a hotly debated issue between the US and Cuba. For decades, Cuba insisted that the US hand back the territory it took by force in 1898 and subsequently permanently leased from the government of Thomas Estrada Palma, Cuba's first president in 1903. Initially set up as a temporary detention facility dubbed Camp X-Ray in 2002, the prison complex comprises 7 detention camps that were labeled according to the orders they were built. Back then, the Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld famously referred to the men held there as the worst of the worst, but many were low-level militants. Some had no connection to terrorism at all, and few were ever charged with a crime. Since January 2002, at least 780 detainees from 48 countries had been held in this facility, and only 16 were ever charged with criminal offences. The maximum number of detainees were from Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Pakistan, and Algeria. The youngest detainee was 15-year-old Omar Khadr, a Canadian citizen who was released in 2015 after being locked away for 13 long years. The life of this facility has so far seen 4 US presidents till date, and it has become a stain on the US claims of being a virtuous nation. George Bush released 532 prisoners but left it to his successor to figure out what to do with the rest. His successor, Barack Obama, promised to close this facility and on his second day in office signed an executive order to shut it down within a year, but that never happened. In 2018, former President Donald Trump vowed to keep the prison open and signed his own executive order reversing Obama's order. The current President Joe Biden has renewed the Obama administration's effort to close the prison. In July 2021, Moroccan prisoner Abdul Latif Nasser became the first detainee transferred under the Biden administration. He had been held by the US since 2002 without being charged. But still, there are around 30 or so prisoners in this infamous camp. Today, over 21 years have passed since the establishment of Guantanamo Bay, and the detention center still stands as one of the United States' many disgraceful blots and horrendous acts in history. A nation that often lectures the world on human rights, freedom and peace has its own bloody record of systemic abuse and torture. This was all about the Guantanamo Bay, the detention center that has gone down in infamy in history. We hope you would like this new video. Thank you for watching.
Subscribe to One India channel and never miss an update.